Hello and welcome back to the Secrets of Strixhaven limited set review. In this video, I'll be talking about all of the red cards and my expectations for them in the limited format. So, focused around draft here, there's 5 tiers that I use to evaluate the cards. They're loosely based more so on draft position than on raw power level. Of course, the two things are, correlated, but feel free to take a look at those tiers on the screen, and we are going to get started with Ancestral Anger. Single red for sorcery, target creature gets +X +0 and trample until end of turn, where X is the number of cards named Ancestral Anger in your graveyard, or X is 1 plus the number of Ancestral Angers in your graveyard, and you draw a card. So it's a collect 'em all type card, of course. You're trying to get basically if you have one of these, you want all of them in your deck. This was a thing in Kaldheim, I believe, was the last time they printed it. And it was a thing. I'm not sure, no, was it Kaldheim or was it actually just Strixhaven again? It might have been, I don't know. I don't remember. It might also have been, who cares? But this was a thing. Like, people did actually make this work, and it was quite good. It didn't start out the format super hot, and I don't know in this format how aggressive decks are going to be. Like, I don't know how aggressive they're going to be, and this is sort of an aggressive card. But it's kind of a spell slingy card, so it feels kind of like a blue-red aggro tempo card. And I mean, this is a powerful enough card that is the deck, like that kind of is the thing that you're doing. But the reason I'm rating it in tier 4 is, of course, that I don't expect that deck to sort of be your like day one front facing best thing to do in the format. It's kind of more like a week 3 type, like, okay, well, people know stuff, and so once you can start getting these late, then it's really good. If the card ends up being good, it kind of self balances out to being not as good anymore because people know and then they take it and you can't get 4 of them. But if the card's kind of bad and people think it's bad, then actually it gets better because you can get 4 of them, and it's kind of like, oh wow, no, that's a good something. So it's a very interesting collect 'em all design. It's one of the better. I think it might be the best collect 'em all design ever. I think that's probably a fair assessment. I think people largely would agree with that assessment. I'm sure there's other ones people like, but after talking about this a lot, I think tier 4 is sort of the appropriate place for Ancestral Anger. It is cantrip. It is a cantrip. I don't. It doesn't go in every deck. Is kind of the thing. It is an aggro card, and I you know it requires a lot. It could end up just being great. It's going to depend on how aggressive red is really. Like if red white and blue red are two really aggressive decks, or not really, you just have to be reasonably aggressive, and they want to attack, and this thing helps you do that. Great, and it's a spell, and for like the blue red stuff, sure. I I have considerable questions. It kind of feels like the both of the decks want to be more controlling though, and that's where this maybe to me feels a little bit like out of place. Archaic's Agony, 4 and a red sorcery, converge. It deals X damage to target creature, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast the spell. Exile the top cards from the top of your library equal to excess damage dealt to the creature this way. You play those cards until the end of your next turn. I'm not even sure this is good if you could actually get to 5. Tier 5 is probably a bit. I mean, it's a sorcery too, is the thing. It's like, that's why it's bad too. Like, 5 mana deal 3 is basically never going to deal excess damage to anything, ever. Because if it does, are you really happy about killing it? Like, you're killing a 2-drop and then you draw like 1 card, maybe, if you're dealing 3 damage? Like, I want my 5 mana removal spell to be able to hit like a 4/4. And so if this hits a 4/4 and maybe draws a card sometimes, I'm not even sure that's great. It's a sorcery. So I think this is pretty bad. If it were an instant, I would be kind of interested. It does trigger all the 5 mana stuff, but that doesn't. I don't think that's like a problem. You're gonna be able to find other spells that do that in blue red. So I don't feel that this is a necessary card to have in my deck. It feels like that would be somewhere more in the unnecessary range. Artistic Process, 3 red sorcery. Choose one. It deals 6 damage to a creature. Does 2 damage to each creature you don't control, and you create a 3/3 blue and red elemental creature token with flying and has haste until the end of the turn. I don't know why it doesn't just have haste. Someone want to tell some genius want to tell me why it doesn't just have haste? Was it too strong to have a token that had haste permanently on it that you could copy? I don't know. Um, yeah, I mean, this is just, so the thing about this is it's got flexibility, right? Like, a lot of times you're gonna cast 5 mana, deal 6, which isn't that good. But the times when you deal when you do 2 damage to everything, it usually wins you the game. So, like, having a mode on like a removal spell that says I win the game sometimes is really good. And then sometimes you just are like, okay, well, I mean, this is like a board like where the game has stalled out. We're top decking. I make a 3/3 with flying and haste, and now I'm winning the race. That's definitely a thing that can happen sometimes too. So again, I don't either. All of the modes are very undercosted, like very undercosted. But the fact that you get 3 of them generally does make up for it, and I think this is an instance of that. But again, I'm not rating it that highly. I have this in tier 3. Tier 3 is not, like, I'm not first picking this, I don't think ever. Because the rate is that bad. I do think having one of these in my deck, I'd be like, yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I like this. Like, I see the card and I'm like, I want to pick it. I see it, I'm like, okay, I'm curious about it. Blazing Fire Singer, 2 in a red, 2/3. Enters prepared, and you can cast Seething Song. So 3 mana 2/3 is pretty bad, and that's the thing kind of keeping this pushed down a bit is that it is very easy to remove and deal with. Doesn't block on turn 3. Of course, when my 3 drop does not block on turn 3, I am very sad. I am very sad when my 3 drop doesn't block on turn 3, but at the bare minimum is going to block the 2 drops on the play. This thing on the play is just the nuts. I don't, opponent's just going to cry if you're ever on the play with this. On the draw, I mean, it's kind of tough, man. Like, it's not. It does help a little bit with the draw stuff. You're ramping, whatever. I don't know. It's a fine card. I do think the fact that it gets removed so easily is a problem. It does allow you to cast a 6 drop on turn 4, which is very good. Red has a bunch of expensive spells that you want to cast, and basically it lets you cast one of your 5 mana spells for 3 mana, which is great. It's something that you want to do. You want to do that early, and this allows you to do that early. So good. I don't think it's broken or anything though. Like I don't think you play this. I mean, Big Boros maybe. Big Boros is real. I don't know. The body always scares me. Charging Strife Knight, 2 in a red, 3/3 with haste, and you can tap it to discard a card and draw a card. Really like this. I mean, you're just getting a 3 drop, 3 mana 3/3 haste. It's not what it used to be back in the day. We had what was it, Bugbear, Hulking Bugbear back in AFR. I'm really go to bed, Grandpa, or whatever. But like, I mean, it used to be like you'd pay 1 red for a 3/3 with haste, and you'd be like, that's a good card, and that was like the whole card. This is like 2 in a red, 3/3 haste, which is way easier to cast, and also it has the ability to just rummage on it, which is sick. I think red white really wants this. And I don't know, I wouldn't ever cut it from a blue red deck, I don't think. So I'm pretty happy to pick this thing fairly highly. Choreograph Sparks, red instant, can't be copied. Choose one or both. Oh, or both. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose your targets for the copy. Copy target creature spell you control. The creature gains haste until end of turn. At the beginning of subsect for this token. So you can actually do both, which I did not realize, but it doesn't matter that much because the second effect is so hard to actually have happen that I wouldn't worry about it. Like, you need to have like 10 mana to do this, which is not. I mean, it's not in tier 5. Like, I don't think it's completely unplayable. It's just so over the top that, like, do you really. Like, I think the hope is, like, you play the 1 mana bolt, which we'll get to, and then while that's on the stack, you play a creature with flash or something, or do you play the creature and then you you cast the 2 mana instant, deal 3, and so that's like 4 mana, and then this is 6. Maybe there's something you can do there. It just it the I don't know. The copy effects tend to be pretty bad. Yeah. Dual Tactics, single red sorcery. It deals 1 damage to a creature. It can't block this turn. Flashback for 1 and a red. I think tier 4 is too low on this. Um, just there are a reasonable number of one toughness creatures, like all the pests exist. So this is just pinging a pest, and the pests don't trigger on death anymore. So this actually does get better against those. The flexibility of where you put the damage is quite nice as well. Can just kill a flyer maybe for 3 mana. It's not the worst. Like that's something that happens sometimes. Like you're just gonna have to kill it. I mean the issue is just like, okay, well, I'm playing a 1 mana sorcery that deals 1 damage. That's tough. But I think it actually, picks off 1 drops. I do think that maybe perhaps diminishing returns could be levied against this card. So I'll leave it in tier 3. I mean, it's possible it ends up just being like very good though, honestly. If there's a lot of just 1 toughness creatures that exist, and there are the pests we talked about. There's not a ton of other stuff though. There's some flyers, but a lot of them have enough toughness. There is the 1/1 flyings, so maybe enough. Maybe like if there's a critical mass of 1 toughness creatures, the thing just becomes tier 2, and it's just very very good. Emeritus of Conflict. 1 red 2/2 first strike. When you cast your 3rd spell each turn, this creature becomes prepared, and this prepared spell is Lightning Bolt. Very good, of course. 2 mana 2/2 first strike with upside. The casting 3 spells in a turn is not easy. So I don't think this is going to be on all that much. If you ever turn it on, it's just like a great, great card, though. And it is just a 2 mana 2/2 first strike. Not a lot to complain about. It's just like the thing keeping it out of tier 1 is just like it is a vanilla 2 mana 2/2 with first strike, a high frequency, and yes, maybe you can get bolt on. It does play with itself, right? Once you prepare it 1 time, it gets really easy to prepare it twice because you can cast bolt and then 2 other spells. So once you do prepare it, it actually does like go off. It does just start preparing itself. It's still not like a complete cakewalk to do. Like you can't like realistically you can't prepare this before turn 6 at like the earliest. So I mean I don't know. It's gonna be tough to prepare it, I think. Expressive Fire Dancer. 1 red 2/2. Opus. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If 5 more mana were spent to cast that spell, it gets double strike until end of turn. So this is kind of like a blue-red card, basically. I don't think it's very good. If you can draft a blue-red like aggressive deck, like the Ancestral Anger deck, this is probably a key piece in that deck. Actually, this is probably a really good card in the Ancestral Anger deck. Um, Currently, I see both of them as not quite the main thing that blue-red is doing, which means it could be. I actually really think this fast Prismari deck could be quite good. I don't know about day 1, but I am actually kind of seeing it here. You got this 2-drop, which nobody else wants, but you want in blue red, and you want it to be fast. And then there's the tap down guy that is in blue that nobody else really wants, and is pretty good in an aggressive deck. And then you've got Ancestral Anger, which is a card that maybe nobody else wants. We'll see. And that card's really good in an aggressive tempo, like, cantrippy deck. I don't know. And then you got like the bunch of okay, all right, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. But there is the control blue red, which I think is sort of the default. But yeah, I maybe flashback single red instant target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. Its flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. I don't like this. That's kind of the take. Just making your spell cost 1 more to flash it back. I'd rather just have another good spell in my deck, usually. This is not... Like, the spell's got to be really, really good, basically. And usually, spells are more finicky than that. It does give you some selection. Tier 5 is maybe, like, a bit much. It does have something leave your graveyard. It doesn't really draw... I don't know. I'm going to have this card in my hand on turn 3 and be like, oh, this is awful. Like, if this card's in your opener, you're just depressed. You're just so depressed. Like, I can't realistically be like, this card is good because of how bad it is in the opener. There are good hits for it, like the two deal threes, common and uncommon, right? Like any of the removal spells that are cheap, this is good with. It ostensibly kind of is something you want in red white because it whatever it is two spell triggers as well. All right, tier 5 is too much. We'll put it in tier 4. So yeah, flashback I think just it probably is. I don't know. It could even be better than this. You could convince me. I usually don't like these kind of cards very much. Garrison Excavator. 3 and a red, 3/4 with Menace. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 red and white spirit creature token. What am I thinking with this? Why did I have this so high? It's not that easy to get stuff out of your graveyard. It's a 4-mana 3/4 with Menace. I mean, you only need one card to leave your graveyard, and it doesn't have like a turn limit. So like, I mean, it's a threat. I guess tier 3 is probably fine. Like, there are a lot of ways to get stuff out of your graveyard in red white. It's really bad up front though, man. I see this and I'm like, man, it just gets removed so much. The fact that there's no cap on it does just make me interested. It makes me very interested. The menace doesn't really make me interested at all. I don't really care about the menace very much. 4 toughness matters a little bit. There's a deal for it, common though. Probably doesn't go in blue-red at all. Probably only goes in Boros, and it's a 4-drop. Yeah, let's move it to tier 4. It's kind of really good with the cards that are already really good, so I'm kind of like, I don't know if I need to take it. Maybe this is going to end up being a bad take. It only goes in one deck, though. Cards that only go in one deck, you got to kind of punish them a bit, and I think this is one such card that is basically just a Boros card. And I don't necessarily think that it's I I don't know. I want to think it's good, but we're putting it in the cautious tier. Goblin Glass, right? 1 in a red, 2/2. It enters prepared, and then the prepared is a sorcery that allows you to create a treasure token for a single red. Yeah, I mean this is fine. I don't love it. It just kind of allows you to be like, okay, I'm gonna spend a mana to make a treasure token. At some point, over the course of the game, you get to basically get a spell trigger for free, which is nice. But it's a 2/2, and maybe it fixes your mana a bit. Kind of solid, but I don't think anything super exciting. I think moving this. I mean, you're probably gonna play it at some frequency. Again, it's a 2-drop that allows you to be flexible with your mana. It gives you like a little mana bank, which is good. Yeah. Heated Argument, 4 in a red instant. It deals 6 damage to target creature. You may exile a card from your graveyard. If you do, it deals 6 damage to that creature's controller. Or not 6 damage. That would be sick. 2 damage to that creature's controller. Um. The Yeah, I mean it's just I don't know, like 5 mana. It triggers your 5 mana stuff, and it goes to face a little bit. It does some like graveyard stuff. I don't Not sort of the type of removal you really want a ton of. I definitely think could see playing a copy of it in this set. That's why it's in tier 4. I think it's fine, but I also don't think it's a priority. It is an instant, which is nice. And practical joke: single red sorcery damage can't be prevented this turn. It deals 3 damage to up to one target creature or planeswalker. So it doesn't go face, and it's a sorcery. That's what's keeping it out of tier 2. I don't know why. I think I should just put it. What am I thinking? I don't know what I'm thinking, to be honest with you. It's a bold. They're always good. I don't know why. I don't know what I was. Yeah, that's what's keeping it out of tier 1. There we go. That's what I meant. Anyways, yeah, very good. Improvisation, capstone. 5 red for a lesson. Exile cards from the top of your library until you exile cards with total mana value 4 or greater. You may cast any number of spells from among them without paying their mana cost. Paradigm. So this is Red's thing that like is supposed to end the game. This one can kill you. If you get unlucky and hit like 5 lands and then like it shouldn't kill you. It shouldn't kill you, but 7 mana and then you exile. I guess it can't really kill you because you get to choose, But I mean, sometimes you choose, and then it's like, yep, gonna mill 10 lands. It's like, ah. Like, if you have a bunch of cheap spells in your deck, and you're at like 15 cards left, cast this, you hit 4 lands and 2 spells, there's 6 cards left. You hit 6, so you're at like what? So you may not get the value out of it. I think tier 3 is probably too low. It's too fun to not have higher. Although again, like you 5 7 mana, you hit a 4 drop. Okay, fine. You can hit higher though. The paradigm spells are all weird and require a little bit of setup, but I do think they're all pretty good, and I do think it's possible that they all end up being tier 1, and I'm just being like a coward on it. But they're all good, I think. Living History, except for the black one, maybe, I don't know. The Living History, 1 in a red enchantment. When this enchantment enters, create a 2/2 red and white spirit creature token. Whenever you attack, if a card left your graveyard this turn, target attacking creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Really like this. Really think this is quite good. Um, it's a good 2 drop. That's just a 2 mana 2/2, and then sometimes you just get to have your creature get +2/+0 and attacks, which is quite a bit. It's like a lot of damage. So I mean, and like ostensibly in red white, you're gonna have this on approximately 50% of the time, I would think. And in blue red, even sometimes you're gonna have it on too. Like I don't, I think I would play this in a blue red deck. I don't think I would cut it. Like you're just gonna have cards leave your graveyard even in that deck, so it's gonna be good, I think. Maelstrom Artisan, 1 red red 3/2 haste that enters prepared. Prepared spell is a sorcery that destroys target non-basic land. Pretty bad. 3 mana 3/2 haste is not very good. It's okay. Destroying a non-basic is pretty bad. The fact that it's still pipped really hurts it. 2 toughness really hurts it. So not really a limited card, but I don't think it's like unplayably bad. Like I probably would cut this actually more often than not, I think. If my opponent's deck really had a ton of non-basics, I'd bring it in, but I don't think it's very good. Magma Blood Archaic. Okay, this is a weird one. 3 2 red hybrids. And it's a 2/2 with trample and reach and converge. It enters with a +1/+1 counter for each color of mana spent to cast it. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn for each color of mana spent to cast that spell. So it's kind of like walk it down here, right? If you pay 3 for this, it's a 3/3 with trample and reach, which is pretty good. If you pay 5 for this, which is your other no. You can pay 4, 2 red red. Let's assume you're playing 2 colors. It's a 4/4 with trample and reach. Okay, no, this is good then. And then if you play it for 5, it's probably still a 4/4 with trample and reach. But maybe it's a 5/5 with trample and reach. You could pay 3 colors. 3. Yeah, okay, this is actually just good, I think. It pumps your whole team, and it's kind of big and has some flexibility. It's a very weird card, but I do think it's decent. If you just think about it as like a 4/4 with trample and reach with the ability on the bottom, I think that's pretty good. So, like, I would play this in a blue-red deck, I think. It does have a bunch of pip requirements if you are going to play it in like a more 2-colory deck. So that's probably keeping it out of tier 1, but I think it's decent. Micah, Reader of Ruins. 3 in a red for a 4/4 with ward, pay 3 life. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. So there's not a ton of artifacts to sacrifice, is probably the concern here. It's a 4 mana 4/4, and the fact, if you have the ability to set it up, like there is that common we saw that makes treasures, so that plays really well with this guy. And then if you get to copy a spell for free, that's really, really good. Copying your spell for 0 mana is insane, so the upside is high. 4 mana 4/4, it's not bad. It just kind of sits there, but I'm hesitant to put it higher than this as a result of it not being really, whatever. There just not being enough artifacts. That's kind of my concern. Molten Core Maestro, 1 in a red 2/2 with menace. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. If 5 more mana was spent to cast that spell, add an amount of mana equal to this creature's power. Yeah, this is insane. 2 mana 2/2 menace that just grows with every instant and sorcery. This is an insane, like, aggressive card. It's an insane control card. I mean, it's just very, very good. No notes. Pigment Wrangler. 4 in red, 4/4 flying, and it enters prepared. Its prepared spell is a 1 mana sorcery. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. And again, another cheap way to copy spells. I think this is considerably better than the 4 drop. One, because it's a flying creature. Like you pay like paying 1 extra mana for flying on your 4/4 probably worth it. Also, you're getting the ability to copy a spell without needing like any setup cost, really, which is pretty good. And it's only 1 mana. Really think this is very strong, very threatening. Your opponent basically has to kill it. Yes, they can pretty easily kill it, like not like pretty easily, but reasonably easily. But the threat is just so strong, and I do think it's going to happen at a frequency that is pretty good. Rearing Embermare, 4 in a red, 4/5 with reach and haste. It's just the weirdest combination of abilities of all time. I don't think this is very good. Thunderhead Gunner is just, it's crying. It's crying and it's sad. Rubble Rouser, 2 in a red, 1/4. When this enters, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. And you can tap it to exile a card from your graveyard, add red. When you do, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. This seems like a house. Like, it's a 3 mana 1/4 mana guy, but it also allows you to rummage. And, like, it does graveyard exile stuff. I feel like this is sick. It probably doesn't go in, like, the Prismari aggro deck, but it definitely goes in all the other decks. It goes in Boros, it goes in the Prismari control deck. Um... Yeah, I mean, you could even think about moving this up. Like, I'm thinking about moving it up. Because I really like it a lot. The problem is, like, it's got that thing where I see it in a pack and I'm like, eh. You know what I mean? Like, I see it in a pack and I'm like, eh. So I'm going to leave it here, but I could definitely move up on this. Seize the Spoils, 2 in a red, sorcery. There's additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards, create a treasure token. Yeah, this was pretty good last time in Kaldheim, I believe was the last time they printed it. It was quite nice. You know, you're getting a lot. You're getting a little bit of ramp. You're getting a little bit of card selection. Yeah, just kind of nice. Really good to copy this. So yeah. Steal the Show, 2 in a red, sorcery, choose 1 or both. Target player discards any number of cards, then draws that many cards. Steal the Show deals damage equal to the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard to target creature or planeswalker. So normally I don't love the fact that you need to have stuff in play, but I believe that if you choose both, the discard effect will happen before you deal damage, and so you will get to if you have to discard stuff to draw more stuff. That is pretty good. Um, just kind of reminds me of like those. It's a little bit of a build aroundy type spell, right? Um, but if you think about it as like a deal 4 sorcery to like loot or rummage in the late game, that's pretty good. I guess the problem is like it does do nothing on turn 3. But like when I think back to like the other spells, like the other ones that like the one from Lord of the Rings that was like kind of like this. That did nothing on turn 3. Um I should probably move this down a bit. I do think the fact like it's going to be harder to get stuff into your graveyard than usual. Although again, you can just like pitch your hand and do it. If you have a bunch of flashback spells, it's really good. It's a sorcery though. Let's move it down. Strife Scholar, 2 in a red, 3/2. It is a ward, pay 2 life, and it's prepared, and it has prepared for 5 in a red, sorcery, create 2/2/2 red and white spirit creature tokens. This is really bad. I don't want anything about this. Like, 6 mana to make 2/2/2s is bad. Like, it's not a good rate. And the 3 mana for a 3/2 is really awful. Like, yeah, you can get to 6 mana at some frequency, but like when you get to 6 mana, you're just gonna want to do something better than this. Just feels horrible to me. Obviously, it's a 2-for-1 if it survives, but it's pretty easy to kill it. It's got 2 toughness. It doesn't really block very well. You have a lot of time to kill it too. Like it's not like you're out here worried about, oh man, I have to find a way to kill this guy. Like you're just gonna have a way to kill it. because it doesn't do combat at all. If it starts to become a threat, you just trade with it or whatever. Like this can't attack, right? It basically can't ever trade because it doesn't trade well, and then it doesn't block well. So it doesn't block and it doesn't attack, and it just sits there. So yeah. Tablet of Discovery. Two in a red artifact. When it enters mill a card, you may play that card this turn. Tap it for a red, or you can tap it for double red to spend only to cast instant and sorcery spells. You're going to have a lot of instant and sorcery, so that's pretty good. And, milling a card when you enter, even if you can't play, it's not terrible. And in the late game, obviously, you're going to have, like, basically drawing a card off of your thing is pretty, like, solid, man. Like, it's pretty good to have something that draws you a card when it's a mana rock that enters, and I don't mind it. I really don't mind it at all. Um, so I kind of like this thing. Tackle Artist. 3 in a red for a 4/3 with trample and opus whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, put 2 counters on it instead. I'm just like categorically out on a 4 mana 4/3. Like that doesn't do anything when it enters. So yeah. Thunderdrum Soloist. 1 on a red for a 1/3 with reach. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, this creature deals 3 damage instead. This thing's a house. This thing is an absolute house. The reach is really good. And like you just play this and then you're just paying your opponent. It's like you know the guy that I'm thinking of. But just like better, kinda. Like cause if you I mean yeah, because it can actually block. Blocking is pretty good, although you don't want to block with your guy. But the fact that you could block is interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's just good. I don't really have anything to say about it. Tome Blast. 1 in a red sorcery deals 2 damage to any target. Flashback 4 in a red. I mean, the rate on this is really bad. Like 2 mana deal 2 is like really bad, and then you got to flash it back for 5. I may be being too harsh on it. It does trade with a 2-drop basically, and then you have a 5 mana thing to come out of your graveyard, and it goes face. Yeah. The fact that most of the 2-drops in this set are 2/2s really makes this kind of playable, I think. Like, there's a bunch of multicolored 2/2s, and then there's a bunch of 2-drops that are just 2/2s, the 2/2 first strikers set, cycle. There's just, like, tons of stuff that's a 2/2 for 2. So this is going to hit something on turn 2, and then you kind of just have, like, gravy from there. The thing that you can't really ever do is pay 7 to deal 4, but that's fine. Unsubtle Mockery. 2 and red for a instant that deals 4 damage to target creature surveil 1. Yeah, great. I mean, you're getting a surveil on a spell that's like pretty good rate anyway. Yeah. I don't really have anything to say about it. It's very good. 2 mana deal 3, surveil 1. Very good. Zealous Lorecaster, 5 in a red, 4/4. When this creature enters, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. I just don't think this is great. Like, you playing a 6 mana 4/4, you draw a card. Like, okay, fine. Like, if it's just a 6 mana 4/4 draw a card, this is probably slightly better than drawing a card in red, but like, I don't in board. It's a comment. I don't know. Oh man, the 4 mana 2/2 version of this card we've had before. There's also been a 2/1 version, I believe, and those were okay. 6 is a lot more than that. It is bigger. But like, you're kind of spending your whole turn doing it. I should probably move this up. I think I'm being too harsh on it. I hate expensive cards, man. I hate them. I hate putting them in my deck. I hate when I have to put a card that costs 6 mana into my deck. It makes me very upset. There's just other better big cards, right? That's kind of my thing, right? It's just like how many large like cards can you actually have in your deck? And it's like not that many. There's so many of them in the set because you have to enable all the like 5 mana spell stuff with Opus, and then Boros has kind of got a lot of big stuff too. I don't know, man. Like I just how many of these like okay, I'm constructing a deck image in my head. All right, now you can play it. Yeah. All right, I'll put it in tier 3. All right, and with that move, we have finished with red. We have yeah, that's it. So please check out any of the other set review content that exists, and I will see you in the next one.